Come on, everybody, let's give them some love. Ready? On 3. Max out. 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 All right, we're going to play a quick video. Stay standing. Be ready to welcome a keynote speaker. Is there a video, by the way?
Everything's full of surprises.
We have a lot of surprises today. You ready?
One of the things you have to be conscious of is you are in a fight. You're in a fight for your life. You're in a fight for your dreams. If you don't fight for those things, you're not even aware you're in one, you're going to get slapped around a little bit. The difference that separates the winners from the losers isn't that they get up. Everybody eventually gets up. It's how long you stay down, or you get up, you rise up, and start swinging.
Play offense, not defense. Stop backing into everything. Stand up.
Help me welcome Ed Mylett!
So, all right, grab a seat. Thank you. Can you hear me okay? God, echo way up here. Can you turn it down a little, man, and I'll talk louder? How's that? Just a skosh if you could turn the mic down. Thanks, brother. That was cheesy as shit, that video, wasn't it? No one wants to see an old man run into the ocean with his shirt off, so sorry about that. I asked him, where'd you get that? Evidently it's on YouTube, so I agreed to it at some point. So hey, I'm backstage, and everyone's telling me you guys are a tough crowd. You're not a tough crowd, are you? Are you a tough crowd, or are you gonna show some enthusiasm here? Are you with me? Yes? All right. I mean, let's do this. We got an hour, let's crush it. So hey, I got a lot I want to talk about with you. I want to first tell you how wonderful Christian, I want to just say one thing about both of them first, because Jeanette too, okay? My staff works with a lot of people. I speak all over the world, and I got to tell you something. I have a big team now, but my primary assistant's my sister. So I get the scoop on everybody, right? She's been my sister all my life, and she's been my assistant 18 years, okay? Actually, she hasn't been my sister all my life because I'm 12 years older than her, but that doesn't matter. And she tells me who's great to work with and who isn't. And she says these are two of the most wonderful, caring, good, kind people that we've ever done any business with. So I just want to acknowledge them. Thank you. Also, two guys I work with, Sam's in my RTA Syndicate program, and I was best man in Guillermo's wedding, the guy you just heard from, so I know him pretty well too. So both you guys, I'm proud of you. I'm gonna move this down. All right, you guys ready to roll? Yes? All right, it's my honor to be with you, and I wanna make this as valuable an experience as I can. This hour is not about me, it's about you. Because I want you to change your life. And I come here when I talk with you as a brother. I'm a Christian. I believe we're brothers and sisters. I'm not any better than you. I'm not any better than you, but I am more experienced than you. And so I'm going to share with you some of my experiences of things I've learned that can save you some time and hopefully make you a bunch of money. How many of you want to make a bunch of money? Yes? So to start with, you got to ask yourself, why do you want to make a lot of money? Is it really the money? Is it like a bunch of green pieces of paper? Or is it what you think you could do with the money? Amen, right? Here's my bet. I bet you want to be happier. And I bet there's a part of you that thinks having more money might help you become happier. True or false? Yes? Yes or no? Yes. There's nothing wrong with that. You hear people say all the time, hey, money doesn't make you any happier. Material things won't make you happy. Everybody tell you that before? Yes? That's a bunch of crap. Have you ever bought something and it made you happy? Yes or no? You ever given a gift to a family and it made you really happy, right? So of course material things make you happy. Sam's flying on my jet on Saturday with like 15 other people. I damn well tell you I'll be happy, and so will you. It's better than Coach on Southwest, right? It's better. You get happy. But what it won't make you is fulfilled. And if you just chase happiness all your life, you're going to lose. At the end of the game, you're going to lose. So we're going to talk about achieving happiness and fulfillment today. Would you like both of those? Say yes. Yes. Why do I start out with that? Because your obsessions become your possessions. What you're obsessed with, you will eventually possess. But most of us are obsessed, because I've lived this way for many years, we're obsessed with our fears, our worries, our problems, our doubts, our insecurities. If this sounds familiar, you will begin to possess those all your life. But if you can start to switch something in you, where you begin to obsess about the things you dream about, that you want, that you're capable of, that you were born to have, you can have a totally different life. Most people don't suffer from a vision issue like they can't see themselves being successful. I think most of you have had a dream about being successful, yes or no? Yes. By the way, and I don't make any judgments about whether you're not already successful. You might already have success in certain areas. Maybe as a mother, you're incredibly successful already. Maybe as a father you are. Maybe as a servant in your faith you're successful. Maybe you've already helped people. That's success. Money is not the only measurement of success in life. But I think that you should have success in every area you choose to if you can become obsessed with those things. Yes or no? Yes? We have to remake ourselves. There's good news. You're being remade right now whether you know it or not. You're being remade right now whether you know it or not. Okay? Let me explain it to you. And I'm not talking about the faith part of my talk. I'm actually talking about the science part of my talk. You have 37 trillion cells in your body that are remade on a monthly basis. Did you know that? Every month you're being remade. Literally, you're a brand new person. Let me give you some things you won't even believe. You won't even believe this crap, but it's true. You have 810,000 new red blood cells per second. Your digestive tract is replaced every 4 days. It's literally brand new in your body. Your lungs are replaced every 8 days. 8 days from now, you'll have a different set of lungs cellularly than you do right now. Every year, you replace 10% of your damn bones. Over 10 years, you have a completely different skeleton than you did 10 years before. So humans were made to transform, to change. The physical parts of our lives that are constantly growing and changing are not in our control. They happen automatically. The material things, the external things in our life, we must control. Does that make sense, everybody? Yes or no? But if your life is not changing, here's what I want you to get. Accept this. Write it down. If your life's not changing, that's unnatural. That's not natural. That's not normal. You weren't born not to increase. You weren't born not to do better. You weren't born to make progress. You weren't born not to help people. You were born to do something great with your life. You were made in the image and likeness of God, and He put you here with a purpose. And oftentimes in our life, the world helps us forget it. And over time, when you're a little girl or a little boy, no, don't touch that. Sit down. Be quiet. All the way up to this day where many of us walk in a room and we just feel invisible. At least when you're a little girl or a little boy, maybe you walk in and mom and dad were, hi, honey. Now you don't even get that. Most people walk through life invisible. They feel unimportant. Did my mic just change? No? Where? Maybe my hearing just changed. I just got a way deeper voice and much more attractive. So. If you didn't see it, take another look. It happened. So, now by the way, you need to believe that. But guess what? Belief is a terrible substitute for experience. You need to get some experience with winning. You can't be doing all this dreaming and thinking and hoping all the time. You got to get after it. See, one thing I want you to realize, when you see a successful family, maybe like mine, I grew up right down the street in Diamond Bar. This is kind of my hood a little bit right here, okay? My wife and I grew up a couple blocks from each other. I met her when I was 5 years old. I'm 40 damn 8. I've known this girl all my life, right? It's pretty cool. I know she didn't marry me for the damn money, because I had no damn money. But when we were dating in high school, I'd walk her in Laguna Beach and I'd point up at those and I'd say, babe, someday I'm gonna get us one of those. We're gonna be married, we're gonna wake up in the morning, we're gonna walk out there with our babies, waves will be crashing, and she believed me. She believes all kinds of things about me that's cool. Because I was her first and only in certain areas. So as far as she's concerned, I am a stud in every sense of the word. She has nothing to compare it to, thank God. I have a block on her iPhone. She can't look at nothing. As far as she knows, I'm incredible, if you know what I'm talking about. And now we live there. Now we live there. And I'm not here to brag to you about material things. I've had them all. I live oceanfront Laguna Beach. I built a kingdom, an estate in Lake Coeur d'Alene in Idaho. Anybody you ever see on my show, most of the famous people, I know them from there. I'm building an absolute masterpiece in the desert right now. That jet you saw is 3 jets ago in 4 years. I'm in escrow on my 4th. I'm buying a Global Express right now so that Cardone looks like a clown next to me. Okay? I'll be able to pay off my parents' homes, take care of my family. Been able to give to the philanthropic things that I care about in my life. Been able to call my own shots. And when you see a family like mine, realize when you see a successful family, there was a time when that family wasn't successful. There are people here, probably there's someone in the crowd who's known me 20, 30 years. They're going, I can't believe that mother effer's the dude who won. There's just no way in high school you'd have picked me. Quiet, shy, introverted, B student. I'm not stupid, but I had to work really hard to get B's. Right? You'd have never picked me. There was nothing special about me, and there continues to be nothing special about me except my heart, my courage, my desire, my want to, my love for my family. Right? And I ought to give you some dadgum hope that a guy like me can win. But when you see a family like mine win, remember, we used to not be successful. And in every family that's successful, you know what happened? The one showed up. The one stood up in that family. One person changes the family tree forever. One person says, the world's going to stop pushing our damn family around. You don't push my mom around. You don't tell my parents where they eat, where they live. You don't tell my kids, my sisters, my grandkids where we go to school. No one's going to push my family around. And someone steps forward in every family when you see them win and goes, that's it. It ends with me. I'm changing this family. And I was that one in mine. You could be that one in yours. You love your mom and dad. You love your brothers and sisters. You love your kids, your grandkids. At any age, I coach on to. When this is over, I'm on a call with, I wish I could tell you who, but I'm coaching one of the most connected, politically successful people of the last 30 years in politics. Your mind would be blown. And he stepped forward and said, it stops with me. I'm changing my family tree forever. You could do that. You could be the one. And even if there's no track record of it, no indication it's you. But when I say it, if there's a party that goes, man, I would love that to be me. Maybe it could be me. I hope it could be me. Even if you say, how is it going to be me? But you kind of want it because you win with your heart, not your head in business. We'll do some of the head stuff here in a second. But you got to want to be the one in your family. And where the one comes from is they love their family so much they want to make them proud of them. They want to change things. They want to call the shots. They want the world to get their thumb off their damn family and start to make something great happen. How many of you want that, yes or no? Well, if I can do it, you can do it. And I'm going to show you some steps in a minute. Now, this is a true story I'm about to tell you. I always get a little... Before you're successful, and I don't even know that I am. In some areas, I'm pretty successful, but I don't feel successful. I don't feel like I've won. I don't feel like everything's perfect. I got all kinds of things I want to improve. I know my own deficiencies just like you know yours better than anybody. Half the time I wonder, do these people actually know how screwed up I am? Do they know how to control I am, how insecure I am? This dude I'm about to be on the phone with, I'm like, you want to talk to me? Of all the people on earth, this person may end up being the leader of the free world. He wants to talk to me because I know me. Because let me tell you what I know about me. I want you to see the real me to give you hope. The bad thing about coming to seminars or things like this is, yeah, you get inspired, but you see everybody in a good-looking suit. Me, Sam, Guillermo, Christian, we're all wearing custom suits. We all look like we got our act together. We're all in pretty good shape. You might be convinced we're all like different than you, right? If these seminars were a weight loss commercial, we only show you the after picture. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like, you know, in those commercials, there's the before and the after. There's the fat dude, and then there's the shredded dude. When you go to these meetings, the only people that get up on stage are the shredded dudes. And I'm not talking about physically, I'm talking about in life. We're shredding our lives. But I'm a fat dude in the game of life. See, when I met Guillermo, I was already pretending. How many of you are kind of faking it right now until you make it? It's all right, raise your hand, don't lie. Not look at her. Me, shit, big time. Okay, just all of you, right? And that's not a bad thing. I faked it till I made it too. Big time. I'm one of the great fakers of all time. Let me prove it to you before I get into my stuff. I want you to picture, not Mr. Podcast, Instagram, coach people, blah, blah, none of that. Millions or whatever, followers, forget it. Throw all that crap away. Let's go to the before. And I'm even going to go to the before. I'll go to when people already thought I was successful before. Because there's a lot of you in here that are posing. You're making $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year, and you're pretending to be rich. Aren't you? And me and you both know you're broke as... I almost said a bad word. You just as broke as when you were making 80. Because now, you got a Benz and a Beamer and not a Camry and a Prius. You got a 5-bedroom track house now, not a 3-bedroom. Ooh, you're a baller. You walk around because you're the most successful person in your family. You're making $300,000, $400,000 a year. You think you're successful. In fact, when I walked out here, you're like, I wonder what this dude could teach me. Dude, I make that a couple minutes a day. So let's just get real. You're not successful. I don't say that to you to brag, but one of the things that you have to do is get a gut punch once in a while and go, wake up. You're not changing your family at $400,000. You're not going to change your family at $1 million a year. Are you kidding me? $1 million was a lot of money in 1985. You make $1 million in California, especially those who didn't raise your hand against socialism, just so you know, you keep about 400 of it. You keep about 400. Then you got some business expenses. Someone in the family needs some money because they think you're rich. You got to have a Mercedes now. You really faking it. You might have to have a Rolls like I rolled up in. You got to fake the whole thing all the time. And you got to be having dinner at Mastro's. You can't be going to Sizzler anymore, right? So you're just as broke when you were making 80. But when you start to get to 3 million, 5 million, 10 million, 30 million, 50 million a year, now you're playing. So those of you that aren't even where I just described, you really need to wake up. Me, as a friend, you're losing. You are losing. And just because you hang around a bunch of other people who are losing to about the same extent you are, and they make you think it's normal, that ain't normal. Normal is your cells regenerate every day. Normal is you got new bones and new lungs and new life all the time. What you're doing is not normal. Your friends make you think it's normal, but it's not normal. What I'm doing is normal. When I met Guillermo, I was faking it till I made it. Let me tell you about I wanted to be somebody. I wanted to save money like Guillermo said, and I wanted to drive a Mercedes. It can't come up because their PowerPoints are having some issues. Guys, we'll pull the other PowerPoint up in a minute. But let me tell you what I did. I wanted to drive a Mercedes so bad, and I'm a good liar. Like a really good liar, okay? And so I remember the penny saver? Do they still have the penny saver? I don't even know. Okay. I look in the penny saver, and there's this Mercedes for sale for $6,000. I'm thinking, how the hell is a Mercedes for $6,000? Nobody accidents means it. And I begin to read, and it says, $6,000 Mercedes, ... well, kinda. And I'm like, you got my attention. Now, by the way, I'm already almost a 30-year-old man when this happened. I'm like 27, 28 years old, okay? What it was a kit car. If you don't know what that is, this was a Chrysler LeBaron that someone had stripped the frame off of and put a Mercedes body on. And I drove down to Laguna Beach where I now live, met this lady, she was tweaking pretty heavy, and I said, and she's talking about the car, she goes, look, just be very careful. If you're gonna buy this thing, you gotta be careful when you brake because the front headlight will fly out into the intersection. I'm like, why in the world would that be the case? She goes, well, we couldn't afford to weld the car together. I'm not lying to you right now. We Velcroed this car together. This car was put together with Velcro, and it was like an S500 Mercedes, you know the convertibles? Except it was a little bit too long because LeBarons have back seats. So when you would get in the car and open up the door, first the heater ran 24/7, and when you would get in the car, it was all Chrysler. So I had to figure out, what am I going to tell my team? Because I had a team of agents back home. I wanted to let them think I'm driving a Mercedes. And right about that time, no joke, Chrysler and Mercedes had merged. The companies merged, I'm not kidding you. And I walked into the meeting that night, I had my agent say, guys, I'm balling, we're blowing up, you can be successful too, just like me. Got a new Mercedes parked out front. True story. Got a new Benz parked out front. I don't know if y'all heard, but Chrysler and Mercedes merged. I've got the first ever hybrid. And so when you open up the door, outside's a Mercedes, but to save a little money, they did a LeBaron interior. Just so you know, this is a true story. And I would take out my teammates field training them, and I've worn a suit like this. This situation I'm about to describe to you, I have done more than 200 times in my life. You ready? Here's the situation. I would roll up to a light and forget you had to slow down way in advance. So I'd roll up to a light at an intersection, stop too soon, and my front headlight would fly off into the intersection. I would get out of my car in a suit and stop traffic, go pick up my damn headlight, walk back to my car at a busy intersection, and stick the light back on my car and get back in. And people are, what the hell is this dude doing? But I wanted that Mercedes. So one night, Guillermo has a date. He wasn't married to Angelica. He goes, he had the 4-seater Mercedes. He said, hey man, I want to take this girl on a date. I'd like her to take her in the convertible to the beach. I'm like, no problem, man. You can take mine. I'm believing my own lies so much. I'm letting him drive my car. So we meet at the office. He gives me his real Mercedes. He gets in my Mercedes, and he takes off. I'm like, have a good time. 8 minutes later, he's back at the office. What the hell? And I know when he drives up, there's a problem, because the left headlight's no longer in the car. He goes, dude, I don't know what this piece of crap is, but it's blowing heat on me. Give me my keys back. And by the way, why are these LeBaron keys? I'm like, dude, it's a hybrid. I've been trying to tell you. I kept that lie going forever. That when we had a retreat a week after that, I went up to Lodi, California, and my other business partner was in the passenger seat with me. He's African American, and he tells me before we go up there, I was best man in his wedding too, and he says, hey, there's no brothers in Lodi. We're gonna get pulled over. I'm like, Charlie, hey, you always dropping this race stuff, man. People aren't like that. He goes, Mylett, I'm telling you, there's no black people in Lodi. They're gonna pull you over driving with a black dude. I'm like, dude, I don't buy that for a minute. We do the meeting, we're driving through this vineyard, I can kind of get lost back to the hotel. My whole team are in their cars caravanning back to the hotel following me. Guess what happens? Woo! He goes, I told you, dude. I'm like, this stuff's real, man. We get pulled over, the cops, 3 cop cars pull up while we're waiting there. The lights are in the back. My whole business is parked behind me in their cars down the road. And the guy walked up to the car and he goes, stick your freaking hands out of the car, but he didn't say freaking. I said, sir, what's going on? He goes, this is a stolen vehicle. I'm like, oh no, that tweaker, okay. Put my hands out of the car, I get handcuffed, Charlie A gets handcuffed, put in the back of a police car. So this is Mr. Max out back in the day. I'm in the back of a police car for about 40 minutes, and my whole team, I know they're back there, going, you know what? Always thought he was probably on coke. He's really thin. Always grabbing that big nose. Finally getting the coke deal. And finally, it dawns on me, I'm like, wait a minute. I said, officer, please. The guy comes over the car. I said, sir, what makes you think that car's stolen? He goes, the plates are registered to a LeBaron. I went, you're not going to believe this, man. That's actually a LeBaron with a Mercedes Velcro to it. And he looks at me dead in the eye and goes, this is turning into a DUI, son. I'm like, no, sir, I have not been drinking, I swear. If you walk up, and you pull on the driver's side door like this, it'll pop right off. You can just have it. He's like, what are you talking about? I go, just go ahead and do it. And so slowly but surely, my whole team watches him walk up to my door. Him and the other cops look at the door and he goes, poof, he pulls my door off. And he spins it with the Velcro on it on his finger. All the cops fall out onto the ground laughing at me. And he comes back, and ashamedly, I get back into my car. Here's what's pretty cool about that story, because I'm a salesman. We'll talk about sales in a minute. We got back to the hotel. One of my other guys, Rob's like, what is going on here? I go, bro, it's a hybrid. The doors are loose. But I'll tell you what, man, I'm kind of over this car because it doesn't get the fuel mileage I want. I'll sell it to you. And he bought that car for me for the same $6 grand I paid for it. And he drove it for 2 years. True story. If you don't believe me, ask Guillermo after the meeting. So that's Mr. Max out back in the day. Does that give you a little hope? Yes? So you think you're screwed. I said, does it? Yes? I was weak. Okay, well, it should give you hope. All right, so that's Mr. Max out. Now let's get into the stuff. Can you pull the PowerPoint up, guys? And I'm just going to have you click because I don't see a clicker here. So I'm assuming you just click when I say click, which is fine with me. Can I see my PowerPoint or I can't? Cool. You got monitors? You got monitors. Cool. This is awesome. I'm going to give you 7 steps to building a business. Do you want to build a business? Say yes. Okay, first thing you got to do today is you got to define reality and create a specific map of where you want to go. I know you've heard this before, but you don't do it. That's why I gave you a reality check about how much money you're making. Step 1 to build a maxed out RTA business is you got to define reality. Most people know where they want to go. That's pretty clear. They really don't know where they are. So you got to take some time today and define where you really are. You got to be honest, not where you think you are, or where you hope you are, or where you'd want to be. You should be writing this down, by the way. You paid to be here. Take notes. Okay? You got to get clear on where you are. Like when this thing's over and everybody goes and parties, the real players here will take 30 or 40 minutes and start defining some reality for their life. Like right now, I know where I want to get fitness-wise. I don't have my best body right now. I've let that slip a little bit. But what I got to do is define reality as to where I am. What's my body weight? What's my body fat? How big are my biceps? How big are my quads? I got to know all of those things so that I can measure where I'm going. Step 2, pillar 2. Go ahead, guys. Pillar 2, constant course correction. Here's the mistake that people make. You're having difficult times, right? And what most people do in life is, here's what business is like. Here's what life is like. Stay with me on this. You're reading 3 months ago's headlines today, and it confuses you. So when you look at where you are right now, you are paying the price, if it's negative, for what you didn't do 90, 120 days ago. Listen to me on this. Whenever my life is not going the way I want it to, if I look back 3 or 4 months, I can find the mistake there in every area. So if I'm not improving and growing, I stop reading, I stop listening to podcasts like I used to 3 or 4 months ago. Biggest reason you need to define reality is, here's the mistake almost everybody makes in business and in life. They start to get it going, and they stop doing what got it going. Their ego tells them they've made it. They think they got it. I don't have to do those calls anymore. I don't have to do those meetings. I don't have to get up at 4. I don't have to work Saturdays anymore. And what happens is, the success you're having, you're reading the headlines from 3 months ago. And then you stop doing it, and 3 months later you're like, man, how coincidental that guy quit. I can't believe that escrow didn't close. I can't believe that client changed their mind. You should believe it, because you stopped doing what you're supposed to do. People are constantly trying to find a way out of doing the work. Can they just find a way out? Can I just stop all this hard work? I got it going. I'm a big baller. I'm making 400 grand. Or I've got 8 deals in the pipeline. I don't have to prospect right now. I don't have to get in there early. I don't have to bust my tail. Because you're reading 3 months ago's headlines. And based on what you're doing right now, I know exactly what the headlines will be in your faith, your body, etc. 3 months from now. It's like eating a piece of cake. If I ate some cake right now, tomorrow the fat doesn't show up. I start seeing that over time. Does that make sense to everybody? Say yes to me. Yes. Why do you do that? Here's why you do it. I'm going to give you something that you should read it in my book. If you go to maxoutbook.com and you put in the code MAXOUT, I will give you my book for free. There's no upsell, there's no click funnel, there's nothing to buy after that. It's just a free book. Maxoutbook.com, use the code MAXOUT, it's my gift to you, okay? About 3 million people have done that already, they're glad they did. It's 100 pages, you can read it in a day. But in the book, I discuss something called your identity. And the reason you stop, and I want you to listen to me, your identity is the beliefs, concepts, and worth you hold true to be about yourself. It's what you really think of you. And it's like a thermostat sitting on the wall, like that one right there. It sets the temperature of your life. It's an internal thing. You all with me? Say yes. Yes. It's an internal thing. It governs your life. So that thermostat, if it's set at 75 degrees, whatever blows in here externally, in life or in the room, doesn't matter. If cold air blows in here and the room starts to get colder, the thermostat kicks in and regulates the room back to 75 degrees. Yes or no? True? Same with hot air, AC will turn on. If you're a 75 degreer financially, in your identity, listen to me, what happens is you stop doing the work when you start getting 80 and 90 and 95 degrees of results. And the reason you do that is because you will do everything in your life. The most powerful force in the world other than God is to be consistent with your identity. And so what you do is you turn the air conditioner on of your life and you cool it right back to where you believe you deserve 3 or 4 months later. And you do it over, and you do it over, and you do it over. It seems coincidental. Your car broke down, something. It's not coincidental. You're doing it. You're doing it. You think it's the external stuff, it's your thermostat setting. The key to life is not only having the technical skills, but the ability to constantly increase your thermostat setting in your faith, in your body, in your relationships, in your money, in your business. Constantly increasing the thermostat temperature because you're going to get it. If you could just get that done, you're going to get it. The hardest thing to accept in life is your life right now is of your choosing. The Lord blesses your prayers, and your prayers are your identity. Not the words you say or what you hope for, your identity. And you're getting it. It's hard to accept, but it is your identity. If you begin to change your identity, increase what you believe you're worth in those areas, the external results change because it regulates the temperature. Everyone with me on that, say yes. This is huge. In my book, in my audios, on my podcast, I talk about how to actually do that. You can listen to it. It's all free. Third thing. Click on the third thing, please. Third thing. A little quicker, boys, just because I'm going long. You got to have a social media plan. You got to have a social media and marketing plan for your business. If you're not on social, if you think my business doesn't apply, every business benefits from social media. You got to have a game plan. Social media now is not about giving motivational tips and memes and life-changing stuff like what you see me do. Yours is building a mosaic of who you are. It's documenting your life. Write it down. Social media at your level is documentation of your life. So if you're a mother, photos of you and your kids at the office closing a deal, then you driving in the car, then you closing a sale, then you enjoying on the weekend. It's your virtual business card, and you've got to build it, and you've got to begin to take it seriously, because it is, without it, you will be out of business someday. Let me give you a stat. In 2008, Blockbuster Video, you ready? Had 8,550 locations. You know how many they have today, 10 years later? 1. They got smoked because they thought what they were doing during that time would stand the test of time. Ask Barnes & Noble. Ask IBM. Ask BlackBerry. So you've got to be evolving. You've got to have a social media strategy. Let me give you an example. How many of you ever see like the DUI billboards on the freeway? You ever seen those, the DUI ads? Isn't it interesting? Because at the time you see the billboard, you weren't having the DUI. You couldn't even read it if you were going through a DUI. Why do these guys advertise all over the place when you're not currently in the DUI? Because they're always there. You're in their consciousness. And so when you get the DUI, you call Joe Blow on the DUI billboard. That's what social media is at a minimum for you and your business. That when you're messaging these people over and over and over again, when they need what you have, you're the DUI billboard. Make sense to everybody? So don't tell me you don't need it. It's wrong. You're wrong. Trust me. Okay? Next slide. Number 4, hope this is helping. Is it helping? Yes. You got to max out your sales and closing systems. You got to become a better influencer. Let me tell you what persuasion is. Persuasion is how people feel. It's energy. It's a transfer of energy. Here's the mistake you're making in selling, okay? No matter how good you think you are, you could be better. Let me tell you the mistake you're making. You think influence is getting people to believe what you're saying. You're like, yeah, of course. Like, for them to do something, they have to believe me. That's what you believe, right? And so you talk from that prism. Let me get you to believe this is the best house. Let me get you to believe this is the best financial product. Let me get you to believe. That's not what influences people. People buy things all the time they don't understand or believe in. Did you know that? Do you know what influence is? I believe you believe it. I believe you believe it. That's influence. You influence me when I believe you believe it. It's a subtle distinction. One, when you're trying to get them to believe what you're saying, you look like a beggar. You look weak. You look desperate. When I go to Sam's gym, I don't need to believe everything he's saying about macros and protein and curls and all that crap. I don't understand most of it. I got to believe he believes it. Right or wrong? Right or wrong? It's a huge thing I just gave you. You keep trying to get people to believe you. If you'll just change that one thought, I got to get them to believe I believe it. You will say things slightly differently, and you will see a total transformation. I don't need you to believe everything I say today. I need you to believe I believe it. That's influence. Make sense? I own a 68 Chevelle. It's a badass car. I know nothing about it. I go to the I'm not a car guy. I've had every car in the world. It looks like I am. I don't know anything about it. It's hilarious. When I go to a gas station, dudes over 30 freak out over this car. Like, oh my God, was it a 68 Chevelle? I'm like, yeah, please don't ask me anything else. You know what they always ask you, right? Hey bro, what are you running under the hood? Here's my answer every time. You know what, brother? You wouldn't believe it. Let me show you. And I'll pop the hood, because I have no freaking clue what I'm running under the hood. I don't know if it's fuel injected, carburetor, this, LS2. I have no freaking idea. Right? You know why I bought that car? Because the dude selling it to me told me it was the most badass, crazy car I'd ever seen in his life. I'm like, well, I gotta have it. I didn't understand anything he said. Don't know anything about it. Spent 200 grand on it. I'm in escrow on a $40 million jet right now. 40 million. You think I understand how the engines work? You think I even know what a nautical mile is compared to a mile? My pilot's always like, well, 3 pounds of pressure per 26 feet is like, well, your fuel efficiency. I'm like, well, dude, no shit, of course it is. I have no idea what he's talking about. It's big and beautiful, and everybody tells me it's badass, so I have it. I didn't buy it because I believed everything. I believed they believed it. I don't even understand any of it, right or wrong. I'm so stupid, I don't even know how electricity works or lights in this room. I have no idea why when I'm talking to this fuzzy thing right now, it goes out of here into these speakers and you hear it. If the speaker's broke or the mic broke, I don't know how to fix those. I don't need to know all that crap. I need to know how to win. I don't care what's going on in Iraq, North Korea. I don't care what's going on with the Kardashians who are my neighbors. I don't care what's going on with Real Housewives of anywhere. I don't give a crap what pick the Lakers got last night. I could care less about any of that stuff. I don't care if Trump and I don't care. I can't control all that stuff. I got to control my life, my winning. People are so easily distracted right now. You know why you're so concerned about Trump or Obama or whatever? Because it distracts from your own life. I'm in my own life. The most hilarious thing on earth to me to this day are grown men who wear the jerseys of sports players. Half you dudes in here ready to crawl into your seat. Grown-ass man, you wear a jersey for a sports team you don't even play for. It says Kobe on the back of a grown man's shirt. You think he's wearing your uniform, you dumbass? I love these guys. I'm a Jets fan. I'm a Raider fan, man. Grown man paints his face with makeup on it. Hey, I was wrong. Dude, we got to win Sunday. I mean, if we don't win Sunday, we're not going to the playoffs. Bro, you're not going to the playoffs. You've never been in the playoffs. You're 5'6" Latino dude. There's none of those in the NFL. There's none. Okay, I'm a 5'9" white slow guy. There's none of us in the NFL either. Are you? Look how quiet it got. And you ladies, we're a real good friend of ours around the Real Housewives. My wife just turned down the OC Housewives for the 3rd time because she doesn't want to be on TV. And they're like, look, this is the last time we're going to ask you. She's like, good, stop asking me. The answer's no, right? But I love this whole, I think Kim's right. I think Chloe's lost her mind. Who cares? What does that have to do with you, man? Go win. Right? Guys, stop wearing the jerseys with other men's name on it. Can you please stop doing that? You got a son, for God's sakes. At least put one with your own name on it. Stop rooting for teams. Jesus, right? This is a wake-up call for all of you if you want to win. Lord, hear me. Amen. I didn't take your name in vain right there. I'm acknowledging you, okay? All right, next slide. I'm getting out of control. Number 5, constant competition and recognition. You got to get the people in your business and yourself competing and getting recognition. People will do more for recognition and the right to compete than they will for money. You got to have constant competition, You know why I'm wealthy? I'm going to beat you. I don't care what we're doing. I want to compete. My friends, the ones you know from my show or the ones who are about to be on my show, you go play golf with Tony Robbins or Sylvester Stallone. It's the most hilarious thing to watch in the history of the world. First, Sly's golf swing it's violent is what it is. It's just a violent, horrific thing that he knows is horrible, and he's in as big a hurry as he can to get it over with because it's so ugly. That's what his swing looks like. Tony may be worse. Tony is 6'8", and I'm never going to tell him this because I like beating him. He uses regulation-sized clubs. I'm like, dude, you're a foot taller than me. Your clubs should be longer, right? Actually, I haven't said it to him. And he wonders why he can't hit the golf ball. I love this, right? But guess what? When you play against them, somehow it always comes down to the last hole because they're competitors. They always find a way to compete. They always find a way to win. They always want to compete. The winners that I know want to compete. They want to beat somebody. Some of you want to win so bad, just to be honest with you. That is why you're fans of sports teams. Because you're losing in your own life so much, at least you can pretend to compete with them. Okay? Number six. Click it, guys. Number 6. I gotta hurry. Max out. 6 needs culture and a client experience. I'm gonna cover that in a minute for you. Number 7. Okay? This is a big one. You got to evangelize for your business. You got to become an evangelist. There's a great book called Selling the Dream about Steve Jobs. A guy named Guy Kawasaki wrote it. It's about the growth of Apple. And what he says in that book is that Steve Jobs' genius was not in his product development because he wasn't any good and he was a crappy programmer and he was terrible with people. What he was a dream seller. He was a dream seller. He was evangelical for his cause. People ask me sometimes, hey, one of your businesses, WFG, is it a cult? And I'm like, man, I wish. Because guess what? Starbucks is a cult. They have raving fans. You know what company's a cult, big time? Apple. Half of you on your phone right now while I'm talking. Apple is a cult. You're addicted to it. You want raving fans. The best business people are evangelical. Let me prove it to you. Click on this slide, guys. It's so weird not to have a clicker. Click, guys, if you could. Thank you. What do these people have in common? Oprah, Gary, Kris Jenner, Elon Musk, Cardone. Go ahead, keep clicking. Me, I'd like to thank. That's hilarious. Andy Frisella right next to Mother Teresa. I think that's hilarious. My hero, Dr. King. What do these people all have in common? They're evangelists for their cause. They know how to get people infectious about their cause. They're constantly propagating the cause, the mission, the crusade of what they do. Some people do it with the spoken word like Dr. King. Some people do it with their actions like Dr. King. Some people do it with social media like The Rock. Some people do it with cussing like Andy Frisella. Some people do it with the care they have for people like Mother Teresa. Some do it writing, some do it art. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is they're evangelical in their way, using their gifts about their cause. And when you get around them, you feel like they really believe in what they're doing. And that's influence. The way you get people to believe what you're saying and believe that you believe it is that you're evangelical about your cause. Check this out. Watch this. Click it, guys. Guys. That's it. Keep going. You got it. You can do it. What all they have in common, I already told you. Keep clicking. Let's just click for a minute. Click, 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 click. I don't have time to teach you all this. Click, 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 click. The 5 purposes of a religion and a movement. I can't tell you that. Read The Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren. He'll tell you why religions exist, and he will then explain to you exactly what to do with your business. Go real quick, guys. Click. There's 5 main purposes to having a cause. Here's what they go. Number 1, a community to join. People want to join a community. So if you're going to build something in your business, make them have a sense of community, of belonging as a client, as a recruit, as an employee. They need to feel like they belong. That's the purpose of a religion. It's also the main purpose is to find God, but these are the things religions do. Number 2, a creed to live by. What does your business live by? Do people know? When they say your business, they know what you stand for, what you live by, what your beliefs are. When they get around you, is it infectious? Number 3, higher power to honor. There needs to be a cause and something bigger than them. Well, we just sell houses. That's bigger. That changes people's lives. We just sell financial services. It just gets kids in college. It just holds families together. It just protects marriages. It just strengthens families. It just gets kids into school. So what's the higher cause to honor about you and your business? These are the things that separate the average and the great. What I'm describing. If you think of Sam's business, he builds a community, doesn't he? He's got a cause. It's got a message. People belong there. 4th, cause to serve. You need a specific mission. What's the exact mission that you're serving? And number 5, core and compelling message to share. There has to be something you can tell me in 2 or 3 minutes that I can share. When I meet someone at Starbucks, they go, what do you do? In 2 minutes, I feel it. It's emotional. There's an energy transfer. What is yours? These are the things you must be great at if you're going to get wealthy and sustain your success. Can you click, guys? Okay. I'm going to show you something here. You see that house? It's kind of beautiful, isn't it? Pretty beautiful home, right? Sam, you've been there. Guillermo's been there. Angelica's been there. That's my home. That's one of my homes. It's my home in Idaho. It's one of the most beautiful estates in the country. I've had some of the most rich and successful people in the world come there. And to a person, they typically tell me it's probably the most beautiful property and home they've ever been to before. But that's not how I got it. Let me tell you how I got that home. I was a dreamer. I had a lot of haters. I had a lot of people in my own family telling me I was crazy. So I was already a pretty successful dude financially. I lived up there already. I had a nice home. I had a couple other homes. My life was pretty good. But I drive by this part of the lake. See that little gold cabin there on the left? That was a dilapidated little cabin, like a nothing. And there was a dude out there on a balcony all the time smoking a cigar, kind of a crotchety looking dude. And I'd drive by and I'd tell Christiana, just like when we were kids. Now I'm a grown man though. I'd say, babe, we got to get that property someday. I'll build a massive estate. She's like, we don't even have any money to do that. We got a couple other homes and things are going good. When's enough enough? When's enough enough? You ever have a family member say that to you? Why don't you just go back to your other job? Why are you taking all these risks? What is wrong with you? Why is money so important to you? It's not the money, numbnuts. I want to win. I want to feel good about myself. I want to be somebody. I don't want to be average and ordinary. The money's the payoff. But you got these people in your family. And we drive by. So finally one day I got the courage. The guy's on the balcony. I said, hey, you ever want to sell this place? I'm your guy. I had no money. That's like what you're telling your family. I'm going to be somebody. You're like, hey, you ain't even got one thing going. He's like, I ain't ever selling this, kid. I'm like, all right, well, if you do, year after year I'd go by. Finally, I go by there one day, and he goes, are you the guy that buy it? I'm like, that's me. He goes, let's do a deal. And I'm like, oh, shit, I got some money. And so I worked out a deal with him where I gave him my house and some money and a bunch of other crap I didn't have, and I borrowed a bunch, and I bought the land with this little cabin on it. I'm like, now I'm going to build this estate. My family's like, when's enough enough? What's wrong with you? Relax, enjoy yourself. And I bring the first contractor out and he goes, you weren't planning on like putting a house here. Now, can you see at the top above the house, do you see that white stuff above the house, that rock right there? That's called granite. That whole hill was that. But my dumb ass didn't know grass could grow on it. So I didn't know that was underneath. And so the contractor goes, you can't build a house here. He goes, didn't you ever wonder why there was never one here in the first place? If someone was going to do it, they'd have done it 100 years ago. You hear that all the time in what you're trying to do. If someone was going to do it, they'd have already done it. You can't do it. I got scared. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, you can't build a house here. Number two, even if you could blow all this rock up, there's springs everywhere. You'd have water going all over the place. I'm like, oh my God, my heart starts racing. Just like some of you, like, I've made a mistake. Some of you that quit your job, you go into business. I made a mistake. Brought the next contractor out. No way. Finally, I get a guy to come out there because I'm relentless. And he goes, well, you could, but you have to blow all this rock up. And I'm like, well, how's that work? He's like, you got to get a jackhammer out here, man. I'm like, what's that cost? He goes, about $30,000 an hour for the crew. And I'm like, okay, how many hours are we talking about? He's like, I don't know. My heart's racing. I go, start jackhammering. 3 months later, the money that would have cost the house, he finally comes out to me and says, this ain't working, dog. We'd have to dynamite this hill. I'm like, well, thanks for telling me 3 months later. You got to get permission from your neighbors. I go, dynamite the freaking hill. And I remember sitting out there that day going, I'm out of money. My mom and dad are going, you blew it. You had money. Now you're broke. You went backwards. Some of you have had this happen in the real estate business too. You went backwards. Things haven't worked out. And I sat there one day on that hill crying as a grown man thinking I've blown my kids' college education. I've blown up my family financially. I had it going pretty good. What is wrong with me? When is enough enough? And then we dynamited the hill. And this great architect came along. This great man, just like the Lord will do for you. And he goes, we can build a house here. He goes, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to repurpose this whole mess. We're going to take every one of these rocks, and that's what's going to hold the house up. We're going to protect the house from the water. We're going to protect the house with these rocks. We're going to build a foundation with the rocks. We're going to use the rocks on the fireplace, the rocks on the outside. I'm going to repurpose your mess and build something magnificent here. And we're going to take these rocks and build a massive 500-foot waterfall that will run right into the lake. Because that's what God will do for you if you stay vigilant, if you stay after it. He will repurpose your mess into something spectacular. Here's the truth. The higher you're going, the deeper the foundation has to be. The deeper the foundation, the greater the struggle. But I can tell you, if your life feels like mine did, which it's a mess, and everyone thinks you're crazy, and what's wrong with you? Why isn't enough for you? The Lord wants to repurpose the mess for you. He wants to build a deep foundation and put something magnificent together in your life. But you have to stay for the harvest. There's a great parable in the Bible called the parable of the sower. And I screw it up every time. But basically, my intentions are good. Basically, you got to plant the seeds and plant the seeds and plant the seeds. And guess what? Some of the soil will be bad. There's thorns, birds, rain, weather, whatever will get it. But eventually, if you keep planting seeds, He'll provide a harvest. He will repurpose your mess. That house is evidence. Look at all those rocks. Click the next slide, guys. All the mess is what holds the house up. Is that magnificent? That whole mess that everybody else thought I was crazy, He put it all together because I kept vigilant. He kept after it. The great architect of your life is God. Click next slide. There it is at night. All rocks, the whole place. Remember when people come there, they go, man, you got a lot of rocks here. I'm like, that's God. That's God. And I'm here not to preach at you, but one thing, if you're a person of faith, one of the things that drives me absolutely up the wall is people in their lives who are believers. They take it into their marriage. They like taking them with them on Sunday. But when it comes to business, they're alone. They check God at the door because you're not supposed to have money. You're not supposed to have any money. That's not God's work. Yeah, God doesn't want your kids in good schools. God doesn't want His body getting educated, living in safe neighborhoods. He doesn't want that. He doesn't want His people healthy, eating good food. He doesn't want any of that, right? Who's ever preaching that to you is a fool. Okay? God wants to have favor for you. He put you here to do something great. He wants increase for you. He knows that if you've got a good heart, that money will magnify that good heart. You will give to people. You will contribute. You will do something great. And He is waiting for you to chase your big dream. Because here's what I've learned in my life. God sows these big dreams into your heart because He knows you will eventually reach the conclusion that you can't get there without Him. See, if you're not chasing your big dream, you're really not a believer. Because there will become a point in your life where what you know will not be enough. Your preparation will not be enough. Your contacts will not be enough. And you will rely on something greater than you. And one of the greatest evidences of your faith in your life will be when you make your dream come true. As long as you glorify God when you do it. Now, I'm not here to preach. I probably got too preachy today. But I'm just telling you, if you've got a big dream, that's not a joke. That's not a hallucination. That's not God playing a trick on you. He's like, this is a glimpse of who you could be. And eventually you'll wake up and realize it's got to be me and you together. And make a mess. Get it messy. Get your family worried about it. I'm not worried about you. I got your back. You all with me on that? Say yes. Yes. We're going to go to the video in a minute, guys, so I'll let you switch. But here's why most of you won't win. Am I good for about 10 minutes? Yes? Okay. You enjoying this? Yes or no? Okay. So listen to me on this. You know why most of you won't win? The price tag's going to be too big. You're going to sell out. When I was broke, when I'd walk into a store, I never got what I wanted. I'd flip price tags over. What's it cost? What's it cost? When Christiana and I would go to dinner, I'd be like, babe, what's it cost? I know you want the Kobe steak, but what's that one cost? Can't we just get the... What's it cost? What's it cost? What's it cost? You relate to that? Say yes. Yes. People who lose are always negotiating the price. In their mind. Is it worth it? I don't know if I can keep going. The pain's so much. You're negotiating the price all the time. And as long as you're negotiating the price, you're going to lose. At some point, you have to decide, no matter what the price is, as long as it's legal, ethical, and moral, I'll never quit. I'll keep going after it. The price I pay for not making it happen is infinitely greater than the one I pay if I do. Listen to me say that again. The price you will pay if you don't make your big dream happen is infinitely greater than the one you will pay to make it happen. Because what you do echoes into eternity. What you do in your life. The difference you make for people, the people you help, the kind gestures, the things you do in your business, those little moments that you think aren't paying attention. You need to ask yourself, is your life going to be a whisper into eternity or an echo? Because let me tell you what's going to hold you back more than anything. You worrying about what everybody thinks about you. What are they going to think? What are they going to think about me? I think they think I'm crazy. And the judgment and the haters and all that stuff. Listen to what I'm going to tell you. If you spend your life here worrying about what everybody has to think about you, you will spend eternity with nobody thinking about you. Did you catch that? Yes. If you keep spending and wasting your energy and your life on what everybody thinks about you, don't worry, because someday nobody will be thinking about you. But if you drop that and you go win and you do something great with your life, they'll be talking about you, thanking you and your family for generations. So you decide whether you're a whisperer or an echo. You with me on that? Say yes. Yes. Okay, so don't let those haters get you. How many of you have kids? Okay. You know how when you go to a game and the kids are playing a sport, who do you see on the field?
Your kids.
You see your kid. You go to Christmas recital at school. There's all those kids up there. Who are you watching the whole time?
Your kids.
It's your kid and the real goofy kid who's lip syncing on the side, right? But that's all the two you see. But you see in your kid, all you see is your precious baby, right? Yes. Guess what? That's all your kids see. Is you. All your kids see is you. You're their entire world. You're the prism to which they see the world through. What you do in your life, who you become, what you do or don't do, tells them what they can and can't do. You don't get it, but you know this. They watch everything you do all the time. And they're figuring out who they are by watching mama, by watching daddy. And they love you when they're little. They'll love you all their life. But they're going to get to an age someday where they figure out who you are, mom. You figured it out with your parents, haven't you? I love my mom, but I love my dad. He's a good man, but they figure it out. Your kids will always love you, but will they be proud of you? Will they be proud of you? See, mama tells the little girl, hey, you can be anything you want to be, mama. Baby, well, mama, how come you're not? Son, you can be whatever you want to be. You can do anything you want in your life. How come you're not, Dad? But you can be happy and make all your dreams come true. Being happy is awesome. Daddy, you're not happy. I see you every day. You're down. You're reaching. You're trying. But you're not happy. You can be wealthy. You can have whatever you want. You can live. Why aren't we? And they watch you. And they know. And eventually they figure it out. And if you don't want your kids to be average, you need to stop. Think about this for a second. Would you pray your life conditions right now for your children the rest of their life?
Yes.
And if you wouldn't, they're going to get your life. For the most part, they're going to get your life within some variation of it. It's your job to show them you're happy, to go win. They watch everything you do. I'm going to prove it to you. You're going to cry. Watch this video. Go ahead, guys. You can play it.
Okay.
Daddy is the sweetest daddy in the world. Daddy is the most handsome, the smartest, the most clever, the kindest. He is my Superman. Daddy wants me to do well at school. Daddy is just great, but he lies. He lies about having a job. He lies about having money. He lies that he's not tired. He lies that he's not hungry. He lies that we have everything. He lies about his happiness. He lies because of me.
Gotcha. So, I asked you in the beginning, why do you want to make a bunch of money? And I gave you the answer, but I want to say it again. You just want to be happier. You just want to be happier. And your kids know whether you're happy. The last thing you want to show your kids is that hard work doesn't pay off. I love my dad. I'm going to go see him when this is over. He's got cancer right now. And every chance I get to spend some time with him. But I don't want my kids to figure out that hard work doesn't pay off. I want them to know our family's special. Your family's special. And so when you start flipping the price tags over next time, start asking yourself what your babies are worth to you, not what the cost is. There's a difference between what the cost is and what something's worth. And your kids, your parents, your future children, your grandparents. Maybe there's somebody in your life who when you were a little boy or a little girl, they knew you were special. They'd look at you a certain way. They said certain things to you. They made you feel special. Think about that person for a second. Who was it in your life? There's been somebody, a grandfather, an uncle, an auntie, a school teacher, a coach, your mom, your dad. There's probably been somebody in your life that when you looked at them or they looked at you, you felt different about yourself. Y'all know who I'm talking about? Say yes. Don't watch them walk out. They got a baby that's been crying for 20 minutes. They need to get out. You know who that person is? Yes or no? Yes. They were right. They were right about you. Listen to me. They were right about you. And all you've ever really wanted your whole life is to feel that way about you all the time. And that's why you want to make a lot of money. And your kids are worth it. And you are worth it. The price you will pay will be worth it. But I want you to remember something. You're going to die. You're going to die. That's not in doubt. What is in doubt is whether or not you're going to live. Whether you're going to live. And I want you to hear me on something as I finish. By the way, follow me on Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube. Listen to my podcast. I'll help you. All my stuff's free. All my stuff's free. I'm here to help you. I got a coaching program. You want to join it, look into it, okay? But the bottom line is, I'm here to help you. I'm here to change your life. I'm here to contribute. I'm here to be a little bit of a difference in your life. I want you to win. Because here's what I know about you that I know about me. God's been with you all your life. You probably don't remember, but you remember when you came out of your mama and they slapped your butt? When they slapped your butt, the doctor didn't give you back to your mom and go, here's an average one, Mom. They're all special. They were all made for a reason. When you took your first steps, you know who was there? I don't know, but I don't know if your parents were there, but God was there. Your first day of kindergarten, when you walked in, God was with you. When you graduated high school, God was with you. When somebody you love in your life died, God was with you. When tragedy struck in your life, God was with you. I don't care if you don't believe that. Just feel it for a second. And let me tell you something. He's with you now. And He wants you to win. He wants you to beat somebody. He wants you to make that dream happen. He wants you to be happy. He wants you to change the world. He wants you to make a difference. He was there on the first steps, and He'll be there in the last steps. And you can do something great with your life. Listen to me. You can do something great with your life. You're special. You are enough. Ladies, check this out. You're enough. The world's constantly messaging us that we're not enough. We got to look a certain way. You better not be too sexy, but you better not be ugly. Don't get too thin, don't get too fat, right? Don't be too intense, but don't be too passive. Man, you got all this same stuff too. The world makes us feel invisible, like we're not enough all the time. You're enough. Listen to me, ladies. You're enough. You're beautiful. You're amazing. You're magnificent. You're incredible. Okay, men, you're studs. You're a thoroughbred. You're a man. Lead your damn family. Make something great happen for your family. Man up. Step into the space you're supposed to be, dude. You're supposed to do something great. Get intense with it. Do something awesome with your life. Stop pussing out. Stop being weak. Stop doubting. Stop it. You've got something great in you, man. You got something great in you. And I don't say that to fire you up. I want you to feel it when I say it. There's something special about you. Here's my prayer for you. I got to go. I'm way over on time. Here's my prayer for you. And some of you heard me say this before. I know I'm going to die someday. And one of the reasons I'm so serious about my life, I had a heart attack when I was 30. Every time I get intense like this, my wife's like, hey, don't get too intense up there. Right? And what happened during my heart attack was I was in my bedroom, and I do an interesting ritual with my kids. I'll share this with you last. Where I go and pray with my son. We get on our knees and we pray. But my daughter comes in after that and prays with me next to the bed, in my bed, just what we do. We've always done it. And so that night I'd gone in and I said my prayers with my son, and I got into bed. I'm watching Sports Center. My wife's in the shower down the hall. I can hear her singing in the shower. No joke. And it came on me. And I don't have the type of heart attack where like your arteries are a little closed. Mine has a spasm. I have like the Widowmaker, like you're gone. And I started the heart attack. And it was like ever that dream where you can't talk? Couldn't get words out. I couldn't yell. Plus she's singing, plus the music's on. And as this is happening, I'm laying in the bed, I'm pouring in sweat. I can't move my legs. I can't move my arms. I'm 30 years old. And the main thought in my mind, I wasn't afraid to die. I didn't want to die. I had more to do. But I wasn't afraid to die. My primary fear was my daughter was going to come in and find her daddy. Because I know any minute she's going to come in. And the Lord is so good, so amazing. My wife's dad was a pastor. Her brother's a pastor. Sometimes the Lord just whispers to you, man. In fact, if you'd listen right now, He's probably whispering to you. And He whispered her in the shower to get right out. And my wife, in the middle of singing, in the middle of the shower with shampoo in her hair, turned the water off, did not dry off, threw a towel on and walked down the hallway and got me before my daughter got in there. And the ambulances came and I lived. But ever since that day, I've been aware that I'm going to die someday. I'm aware of it. And when I die, all I want the Lord to do is say, well done, good and faithful servant. But I have this hallucination. Check this out. I got this feeling when you die, the Lord also goes, oh, let me introduce you to somebody. Let me introduce you to the man or woman you were capable of becoming. Let me introduce you to the destiny version of you. Let me introduce you to the person I made you to be when you were born in my image and likeness. Let me introduce you to that person. My greatest dream in life, heaven to me, would be when I meet him. He looks at me and goes, proud of you, man. I go, brother, I've been chasing you all my life. He goes, you caught me. You did all the things you're supposed to do, all the memories, all the travel, all the moments, all the hope, all the help, all the significance, all the recognition. What an incredible run you had. The Lord goes, that's who I made you to be. You're identical twins. I'm chasing that dude every day. Since that day when I was 30, I've been chasing that guy. Because when I die, I'm meeting the dude I was born to be. I'll have done it all. I will have maxed out my life. Literally. Now, hell, as you meet that person, total strangers. That's hell. You meet and they're like, who's that guy? Who's that woman? That one right there, she's been all over the world. She's helped tons of people. She had an incredible life. She was happy. She was blessed. She was favored. She had great relationships, great family. What a run she had. And you're staring at her, total strangers. Every day, make your decisions through the prism. Does it get me closer to that man or woman I was born to be? Whether you get up or you don't, whether you go to the gym or you don't, whether you make the phone calls or you don't, you remember you're going to meet that person someday. You're going to meet them. And my prayer for you is that when you die, you go to heaven. Max out. God bless you. Come on, you better not.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Heart, passion.
Can we take a picture really quick, Ed, with you? Everybody take a picture and tag me, please.
Tag me.
Tag Ed, and then you tag me.